Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a tutorial for our hat that we call the mesh and berry stitch hat. Now this originally was made with a chunky yarn, and it was newborn size, and it coordinated with one of our blankets, but they have since discontinued selling some of the colors in that line of yarn. It was burnout roving. So I've gone ahead and made this hat in Karen Simply Soft with similar colors of the other hat. And I think still this pattern is very universal to any kind of yarn. You'll just want to definitely have a measuring tape and use the chart that is on the website to this pattern to get the sizing. So for today, I'm going to make a newborn size hat. This is an adult size hat. But so you can customize it to any size, and I'm going to show you the stitches. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I like to do for the brim of my hat is I'm using a hook that is one size smaller than the suggested on the side of the package. So a Karen Simply Soft recommends 5mm, and for the brim, I'm going to go down to a 4mm. Then I will switch back. So for a newborn size hat, I kind of like to make the brim only about 1 inch wide. For an adult size hat, you could do 2 inches. So just make your chains and measure. So like, here's my measuring tape. 5 chains was about 1 inch. So 10 chains if you're making a larger size hat. I'm going to work 1 row of single crochet in each stitch. Across the row, I started in the second chain. And I will chain 1 and turn my work. And then on the first stitch, I will work underneath both loops, just like a regular single crochet would be worked. And then on the next 2 stitches, I'll work in the back loop, single crochet, and then on the last stitch of the row, I'll work back underneath those 2 loops. So however many chains you chose to do, just have the middle, the beginning and the ending stitches worked under both loops, and then all the stitches in the middle worked in the back loop. And that way you'll get a nice ribbing look. So this little band is just little for babies. Okay, so continue that until you have the length that you need. For a newborn hat here, I'm going to go 11 inches because an average size newborn head is about 13 inches, and I'm going 2 inches less than that. So say you measure your head and it's 20 inches, or whoever you're making it for, make your band 18 inches. Okay, so I have my band here. I'm on this last stitch. It measures about 11 inches for me, and that's about right because a newborn size head circumference is usually 13 inches. So I want to do it 2 inches less, and that will allow the band to stretch and fit snugly on the head. And then we're going to go ahead, take, you can take your hook out, but give yourself a nice big loop so it won't come undone. We're going to take this starting tail, and I like to quickly grab a tapestry needle and sew these 2 sides together. So let me get that out of the way. I can see the very first 2 starting on that row, the stitch, go underneath those 2 loops, and then I'll go ahead and go back through the first stitch of the starting chain. Make sure it's nice and even. Pull that tight. And then I can go to the next stitch, match those up, pull it tight. The third stitch, hopefully you can see this. And then I'll go here on the last stitch. And then I'll go back and retrace what I just did so it's extra secure. And then I kind of feel like doing this makes it look like a little part of the ribbing, so it's pretty well disguised. And then, you know, just weave in your tail, and I can weave that in later. Okay, so this is what your headband will look like, or the brim of the hat. So let's go ahead and switch hook sizes. This is where we want to switch hook sizes. Now I'm going up to a 5mm. Okay. And let's turn our work and work towards the direction of the starting chain row, just because it's a little bit easier to see. If you can tell, all I need you to do at the first is work 1 single crochet into that next stitch that's just a little bit tinier, like that. And then you'll be able to see those rows where we chained 1 and turned. They're just a little bit bigger. And those are the ends of the rows that we want to work 2 single crochets. It'll look really nice and neat. You can find those. So then we're skipping this row, working into this row. So the holes are just a little bit bigger that you'll be able to find. And you'll work in pairs. So you'll definitely do 2 in each of these larger holes. Okay, do that all the way around. So the important thing about this pattern is that you have an odd number of single crochets when you finish the round. So we know that we started with 1 and then we worked in pairs. So we still have that's how I kind of know that I have an odd number, because I made sure and worked in pairs, and I have my first one right there. So after we finish the row, I go ahead and I slip stitch right underneath that first single crochet that we made that was just a single. And then I chain 1 and I turn my work. And now we'll work into the first single crochet of the round. Don't be confused and think that's the first single crochet. That's just where we joined. So count down, 3rd stitch maybe, and work a single crochet. Then chain 1, skip 1, work into the next one. This is the mesh part of the mesh stitch part of the hat. So single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. Now I work this all the way around, and my last stitch will be a single crochet, and then we'll join to the first single crochet of the round. All right, I just realized my camera angle might not have been the best. So here's that single crochet. I'm skipping, chaining 1, skipping 1, working into the next one. There you go. Okay, here we are at the end of the round, and I'm going to join to the very first single crochet with a slip stitch, chain 1, and now I will work single crochet into the first single crochet stitch, chain 1, single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. So this is the mesh stitch. We're going to work one more round of this, and then I'll show you the berry stitch, and I'll show you how I changed colors, and then I think you've got this. All right, here we are. Work the last single crochet of the round. I'm inserting my hook, and this time I'm going to change color and just add the gray. I simply lay the yarn across my hook, pull it through. I will chain 1 and then turn my work, and let's still work a single crochet into the single crochet, but instead of doing a chain, let's do the berry stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook underneath that chain space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over again and pull through 1 loop. Then yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. That's a berry stitch. Then single crochet right into that next single crochet, and the little berry will kind of pop out towards the back. And they're just little cute little berries looking things. Let's do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through just the first loop. Then yarn over, insert your hook again, yarn over and pull up the loop, then pull through all the loops on the hook. That's it. And then make sure you do your single crochet into the single crochet. So having the mesh stitch kind of the row below really helps you to kind of stay on track of where each stitch goes as you alternate the stitches around. Now notice that the berries are popping out, towards the middle of the hat, so that will be the right side of the hat. We're kind of working on the outside right now. All right, did I say that right? This will be like the inside of the hat. Okay, there we go. All right, work your alternating single crochet and berry stitch all the way around this hat. All right, here we are at the end of the row. I still need to work my final single crochet into that last stitch. And now I need to change back to my cream, and it's just right here, so I didn't need to cut that. Now the thing is that this little first single crochet kind of gets really tight. So make sure you're not skipping over it and working into the top of the berry stitch. The berry stitch will look bigger. So anyway, oh, whoops, I needed to get my yarn back behind there first. There we go, get that back there. Then work my hook in there. There we go. And now we're back to the mesh stitch. So here's our single crochet worked into the single crochet, and just chain 1, skip over the berry stitch, work right to the next single crochet. Now you just need to work an odd number of rows before you do another berry row of berries. So if you want to, so if you wanted to add more colors than just the 4 colors I have in the hat, you could do just 1 row of mesh and go ahead and put another row of berry stitch. 1, 3, 5, 7, just keep it an odd number. and it will work for you. Okay, so that is it. The next thing I'm going to show you though is the decrease rounds when you're ready to finish the hat. Okay, let me show you the hat again. So this is what I mean by I worked 5 rows of the mesh stitch here in between the berry stitch. Okay, it just depends on, you know, I guess probably since I'm making this newborn size, when I get to about here, I'll estimate how much time, how much width I have to work with and kind of estimate, because for a newborn hat, I really only have about 5.5 inches high that I can go. This adult size hat, you've got about 9 inches to work with. So keep that in mind if you're going to customize this. All right. Okay. Let me show you how to decrease when we're done and we're at the very top. So I've been making, oh, and one more thing else I wanted to say. So this is a different hat, same exact pattern with the exception of, I know you can't tell, but this is the same border. This is mesh stitch. This stitch here is a bobble. So if that berry stitch gives you trouble, you definitely could do a bobble. I still did a 3, you know, I did them 3 times, and there is a single crochet worked in there. There's just a row of mesh stitch in the pumpkin color in between. So anyway, that's how it is. So it's 2 rows of the same color, and that's what it looks like when you kind of do them every other. And then I still did 3 rows, because that's a row in the turquoise color and then 2 rows of the white. So this is just another idea for a newborn hat. Okay, so say you're at the end though, you have all of your berry stitch, all of your, however you wanted to do it. I joined with my yarn at the very last stitch. I'm working into a mesh stitch row here. And this time, all I want to do is only work single crochet into the single crochets. So I'm skipping over the chains and I'm not chaining. This will help gather the hat in really easily. So I'm going to work 2 rows of decrease. So this row, I'm just working into the single crochets. And I go ahead and pinch that single crochet in there so that it really gathers in. I've got a lot of ends to weave in on this hat. But oh, I loved the colors. Don't you think it was so pretty? We have another, the reason why I chose this colors is I'll be linking this to another mesh and bobble stitch. We have a mesh and bobble stitch and a mesh and berry stitch blanket. I don't know why we did that to ourselves. But anyway, this little hat will match a little mesh and bobble stitch blanket that we have. And of course, I can put all the links. If you're only seeing this on YouTube, I'll have all the links to the patterns, the blankets, the hats, everything. All right, I'll work that last single crochet right there. Still join into the top of the single crochet, the first one around. Things changed there, chain 1 and turn. And now on this round, I will still decrease by skipping the single crochet. So I'll kind of just decrease and work single crochet in every other single crochet and continue to pull that hat in. And now I'll just join the round, pull through with a slip stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and give myself a long tail, cut that off, and now I'll use my tapestry needle to continue weaving in all the ends. So I'll pull this free, and then I'll go around. So I still have just a little bit more to go. And I just work in and out of the stitches. just so that last round, just in and out. Pull tight as I go, in and out. Oh, this is so cute. I love these colors. This is pumpkin, robin's egg, and the gray heather from Caron Simply Soft. You know, a lot of people ask me, why do I use Caron Simply Soft so much? You know what? The number one reason is mainly because the colors are just so vibrant and pretty, and they seem to always, they don't, you know, discontinue them so much. So I kind of like that. Okay, I just pulled it tight. Now, and then I would continue, just go in and out and really get it tight. And then you can attach a pom-pom or whatever. But look at this. So this is, so okay, let me review and show you all the different versions. I've kind of threw this one at you at the last minute. Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you on this hat too. I left one, you'll notice at, where did my needle go? You'll notice for the seam, when you're just doing the, if you choose to just do the berry stitch in just one, this, you can kind of make this stitch into a berry when you weave in the tail. So what I mean is, like it just doesn't look like a berry, but then I made it look like a berry by going in and out a few times. Okay, seriously? There we go. So I just kind of made it look like the stitch, and then it really was almost invisible. There we go. Just did it like 3 times to kind of mimic it, and then I'll finish weaving in the end. So I wanted to show you that. Then I'll just finish weaving that in. You can attach a pom-pom if you'd like on these hats, or they look fine plain. One last one that I want to show you is with the chunky. So they do have, I shouldn't have said, I mean, they do have burnout roving, but just the colors that I used originally are discontinued. They still have it in gray and a lot of other fun colors. I only had the gray on hand. This is a berry mesh and berry stitch. It is no colors. You know, obviously don't change colors, and this is what you'll get. But I went ahead, and I believe this is just a chain 6 here, but it's mostly good to just measure. I have one more version of a mesh stitch to show you, which is this hat. Same idea. This time I did a super long brim on it, and because I wanted it to have a rolled up look. But this is obviously this is complete mesh stitch, and I just did 1 row of color change. And I've still got the ends to weave in over here. Same thing. I kind of like made the colors when I wove in the end, and made it look like a stitch. But otherwise, I really like the changes on these, because they don't look like you sewed it together so much. Okay. Thank you so much for coming by. I know this was kind of a lot of different hats here, but it is all the same basic pattern. So I hope that it makes sense. Here's this other little one. And maybe side by side you can see the difference of that stitch. So whatever you choose, of course, come and show us on the Daisy, come and join for sure the Daisy Farm Crafters group. And come and show us what you've been making, or tag us on Instagram. We love to share what you're making every Sunday in our stories. Okay, you have a good day.